Hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to today's conversation with Feminine Health and Fiber Support Network. Hello. Hey, Doc. Hello. Welcome. Please do not mind my look today. I've just come from a wedding, traditional engagement, so please bear with me. I came straight from that wedding here, so I just couldn't be bothered to take off anything. So please bear with me. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm just going to give you a few minutes before I get started. I'm just waiting on a few more people to join us. Give it a minute or so, a minute more. I can't even speak today, but thank you people who've joined. Thank you, Dr. Kenneth. I see you. Give me a few minutes and I will bring you in. I'm just trying to wait for more people to join us. I'll accept your request soon. Hello, good evening. Because we have a lot to cover today, I'm gonna get started quickly. Just giving you a hello. Thank you, Dr. Kenneth. Thank you. I'm representing my tradition, my country. I've just come from a wedding, actually. That's why. Just hoping that more people will join. It's 2 minutes past, honestly. I'm going to get started. Thank you. So this is, by the way, we're still in the Fibroid Awareness Month. It's July, and we're still creating awareness, for fibroids and doing whatever we can do to bring information, education, honestly, to women, and just to let you know that surgery is not the only way, especially with fibroids. There are other ways, there are other alternative, remedies to helping you overcome fibroids. Thank you, Bex, for joining. I'm just waiting for more people to join. But in the meantime, like I always do, thank you everyone who's joined us so far. I'm hoping more people will join. I just wanted to share my thoughts, like I will usually do, the things that I've been thinking about or meditating about. So in this last few days, honestly, something that's been really on my mind is rapture. I'm a believer and I believe in rapture. I believe that Jesus is coming back, and I'm going to share an open vision that I actually had, about rapture. But before that, I'm going to share a few scriptures with us just to try and bring home what I'm going to quickly share with us. I'm eager that we want to learn, we want to get informed and education about our health condition, about fibroids, but also, honestly, even the Bible says that when we get knowledge, we should get understanding. I just wanted to bring you some of my thoughts, around what I've been thinking about, in the last few days around rapture, that Jesus is coming back soon. 1 Timothy 2:5 says that there's one God and one mediator who can reconcile God and humanity, the man Jesus Christ. There's also in John 14:6 says that Jesus told us that I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me. So that no one goes to the Father except through Jesus. Also, John 17:3 says that there's the way to have eternal life and to know you and the only true God. And Jesus Christ is the one that God has sent to the earth. And in Revelation 22:7, it says, look, I am coming soon. Blessed are those who obey the words of prophecy written in this book. And it is obvious that Jesus is coming back soon, honestly, people. And a lot of people, the scriptures got many prophecies about that. And even people, prophets, children of God have lots of prophecies and vision regarding that. It is true. Jesus is the Son of God and Jesus is coming back. There is going to be rapture, And that's what I just wanted to bring home to us today. Also, Revelation 22:12-13 says, look, I am coming soon, bringing my reward with me to repay all people according to their deeds I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. And also in Revelation 20:20 says, he who is faithful witness of all these things says, yes, I am coming soon. Amen. Come, Lord Jesus. And may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ be with God's holy people. Amen. The truth is that Jesus is coming back soon. Rapture, the vision I had of rapture, some of those, and a lot of people are having those things, children of God. You don't even have to be a prophet, honestly. God says that I will show, tell the people, my beloved, the things that are to come, my friends. So God can decide to show it to anybody. And some of those things, people check it against the scripture, against the Bible, and those things are recorded. So that's why I know that, honestly, there's no other way to spend eternal life than to go through Jesus Christ. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one goes to the Father except through him. Give your life to Jesus. It is the basis of everything. This time, this life will end. What will remain is where we spend eternity. And honestly, you want to make sure that you are in the right place. And you can get there only through Jesus. So that's what's been on my mind, rapture. That rapture is real, and that is going to happen. The things that I saw when, as privilege, the privilege and honor that I saw those things, and I was like, wow. When I went to check it against the Word of God in the Revelations, I like, those are the things that I actually saw. I'm like, oh my God, that this thing is true. It's not even a lie. It's not just ancient recording in the Bible. Those things are going to happen. So please think about life after here and give your life to Jesus. It's all that matters. And thank you. I just thought I'll share that with you. It's been my thought. It's been things I've been meditating on most of this week. And I just wanted to bring that to you as well. Thank you for bearing with me and for hearing me and my thoughts this week. Without further ado, I know most of you want to hear what Dr. Kene is going to bring to us today. So I have a beloved guest. Her name is Dr. Kene. She's an integrative health consultant. She's a pharmacist and a nutritionist. And so she's qualified because today we're talking about fibroids, food, and lifestyle. And honestly, here at Feminine Health and Fiber Support Network, this is what we try to do. We try to have conversations like this to encourage and proffer solutions to help women, regarding feminine health issues. My name is Toyin Taiwo, and I am an advocate, a serious advocate for creating awareness for feminine health issues. Because this started because I personally went through a journey, painful journey, and I thought no woman should have to go through that, and so here we are, and that's why we do what we do. We provide support through our community, relevant discussion, and holding, experience sharing, signposting, encouraging women really, and dealing with biases, both cultural biases and even promoting mental health, helping women generally, as they journey with feminine health issues. And so, welcome, Dr. Kene. Thank you for joining me this evening. I'm grateful. I am privileged to have wonderful people like Dr. Kene who helps us, who supports us, and are happy to share their knowledge and experience, and combating, as it says, feminine health issues. Welcome, Dr. Kene. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Just relaxed and ready to talk to your audience. Awesome. I'm actually sitting on the floor in my living room, so that's how relaxed I am. But it's an honor to be able to support women that are going through this, and I just really commend you for what you're doing. I'm telling you, there's so much need for this. There are a lot of women that are suffering in silence. I am telling you, the current group that I'm working with, the stories I'm hearing is just mind-blowing. Are you serious? These horrible things you're going through, you thought it was normal? No.
I know, Dr. Kene, right? Because even when I was going through, I was desperately looking for a support network, people I can share with. Because at one point I thought, am I alone in this? It's nobody else going through this. And so there was nothing. Even when I went private, I was like, there must be some people that you people know that are doing this. But there was nothing. You know, and after that, I thought, you know what? I think after I had the surgery and all of that, and almost 12 weeks later, I went back to church, and someone was saying to me, someone said, "Oh, where have you been around? Where have you been?" And like, oh, initially I was going to close up, and I thought, you know what, what's there? I'm going to share it. So I shared it with someone. I thought, oh, I'm going through that as well, you know. And then before I knew it, 3 or 4 women were surrounding me, like, actually, what's happening to me too? And like, oh my God! So you mean there's a lot of us here? We should be talking about these things. And I'm grateful to God that between then and now, a lot of more advocacy is bringing up. People are talking more about it, and it's helping women. Women don't feel like they have to hide in the corner not to talk about these things, because it's only the things that you talk about. You never know who can help. You don't know who's going through something. They've had a breakthrough. You know, the things that you are doing, you know, who can actually help you and say, oh, I've done this. This is how I deal with it. You can try that as well. You know, so that's why we're having this conversation, honestly. And it's also Fibroid Awareness Month. And I thought, you know what, Dr. Kenneth, you're doing this stuff. You have a personal experience. So it's not abstract. It's not like something you had to study. You know, even though you're a qualified pharmacist, nutritionist, and all of those things. But you had a personal journey of fibroid. So I said, you know what, it's more interesting when someone who comes to talk to me also can feel, knows what I am going through, or know what I'm going through. They understand my pain. So this is why I thought, okay, you're qualified and you're a professional nutritionist who are qualified. I thought, okay, you can speak to us regarding food, lifestyle, and fiber. So initially, maybe if you want, share your journey, you know, and how you've been able to combat that using food as medicine, because that's what I'm trying to emphasize today. Surgery is not necessarily everyone's option. And share with us, you know, some of your the things that you've found out and what you're doing. And I know you have a cohort of women that you're working with, you know, and finding breakthroughs and getting excellent results with your women. So please share that with us as well, and some of the things you're doing.
Thank you so much. Some people are saying that our voice is kind of doubling. So I think maybe when I muted, I could hear you clearly.
Right.
So yeah. So maybe while I'm talking, you can mute, and then when you're talking, I would mute.
Sure.
We could do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's try that. Okay. But yes, thank you so much for this opportunity to share. So I knew about fibroids, but I didn't know how serious it was until I had firsthand experience with it. And this was when I was 35. Right now, I am 44. I'll be 45 next year. So when I was 35, I had taken out my IUD. I was with, I had copper T, which is Paragard. I didn't do the hormonal IUD. So I had taken out the copper T with hopes of, you know, getting pregnant. And I'm like, figured, you know, I'm 35, maybe just try again before I get too old to try, so to speak. So I got pregnant right away, right? And I was excited. Cool. 17 weeks in, I had a miscarriage. What? I couldn't, it was horrible. It was devastating, especially when you feel like you're connecting with the baby. I couldn't believe it. It's so heartbreaking, you know. So it was then that they went through the ultrasounds and they were like, oh, you have fibroids. I'm like, I have fibroids? You know, you hear about these things, but I never thought I had it. I mean, I didn't have the crazy symptoms. You know how ladies, some of them have abdominal pain, and some even have leg pains, some have frequent urination, even constipation. I did not have those. However, my lifestyle was extremely stressful. I had a lot of things going on at the same time, and I couldn't place the dots yet. Okay, I was still kind of grieving from this loss until I started to tried to research, okay, what can we do about this? Okay, so I did some research and I came back to the OBGYN, like, okay, what do you think? Can we navigate through like lifestyle interventions? He's like, no, 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 we have to do a myomectomy. And I love him because he was a male physician. He was the one that helped deliver my first two kids. At that point, they were still quite young. So, I mean, I appreciate this man, but I couldn't believe what he was suggesting to me. I said, really? I have to go under the knife? There's no other way? He's like, you have a submucosal. The submucosal fibroid is the one that protrudes into the womb, and I think that's the one that really caused problems because it was right there with the fetus, with the baby. It was terrible. And then I also had intramural. I had three of them. I had the intramural. I also have the subserosal. So I was like, oh my. So I said, okay, what are the options? Okay, I go through this. Can I try to conceive right away? He's like, oh, no, 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 no. You need to give yourself some time to recover, at least 6 months before you try to conceive again. Whew. I said, wow. I said, there has to be another way. I mean, you know, I'm like, come on. So you want to tell me that I must go under the knife? So is there any guarantee that it will resolve and it will not come back? Zero guarantees. Zero. Okay. And of course, I mean, this is a very well experienced, seasoned OBGYN. And he just told me, you know, that's the option really, you know, because if you can go through medications that are available, but then he knows I'm a pharmacist, so it's like, you know, the adverse effects, right? So, you know, so it's best we just do that. So I'm like, oh boy. I said, no, no, no. So I went back home. And I did some meditating. So I'm glad you've given us the platform to be spiritual. So, so even though I leveraged my science background to fight this, I also had to go to my faith foundation. Okay. So, like, I don't normally talk about faith unless I'm given the opportunity to. So do I have the opportunity?
Absolutely. My faith is my basis for all of this.
So thank you so much. So like I just had to take some time out to pray because I still needed time to recover. I was grieving over the loss of this child. It was a boy, and I already gave him a name. It was just so heartbreaking, you know. So I needed more than science to help me recover, you know, mentally and then physically, you know. So I took some time out, you know, some time of anger. I was angry with God. I was angry at myself for not being a little more gentler in terms of my lifestyle, because while I was expecting, I was hardcore, still very busy. And there were so many other issues that were going on in terms of relational, you know. I had issues with folks, me, my family, all kinds of annoying social issues that had no business with me while expecting. So please take note of these things I'm saying, because, you know, all of these contribute to stress. You don't want stress. There's a hormone that spikes as a result of stress. It's called cortisol, and I'm going to expand more on that. You know, so I had all of that. So I had to go through a period of forgiving myself, you know, and also forgiving others that I felt may had been subtly or subliminally involved in this loss. Because I'm like, you guys were bugging me during that time. Come on, like, just leave me alone, whatever. So I'm serious. You know, so I had to go through that period, you know, of just forgiving people and forgiving myself. And then when I established that sense of peace, letting go of grudges, I took some time out and I just prayed, you know, just prayed. And I'm allowed to talk faith here. This is what happened, okay? I don't think I've ever said this on social media. I've never said this, even to Omoni. Well, I thought Omoni knows my story, but I've not said it on her live. When I was in that state of peace, and I was just in a state of thanksgiving, gratitude, thank God for life. Thank God I have the opportunity to even have children at all. You know, thank God for my husband. Thank God for my parents. I was just being thankful, thankful. I had that season of just thankfulness and peace. I had this revelation. Very funny. I actually was walking through this, something that looked like a buffet, a building that looked like a buffet, right? And as I was going through, all I saw was pastries, pastries, pastries. I mean, the most decadent pastries. I am telling you. And hold on, let me rewind. About 5 days before that revelation, I was having dreams like back to back. Every single dream I saw vegetables, greens, 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 greens. I'm like, what is this? This is weird. Like almost 5 days straight. The dreams, I was seeing like vegetables being offered to me, or vegetables being served to me, vegetables being presented to me. Then on the day 6, I had the dream where I was at this buffet, this huge buffet, and you go in there and it just had pastries. I mean, think about the most amazing, eye-watering, tongue-wagging pastries, you know? And it was then it dawned on me in my dream, like, oops, this girl, you're a sweet tooth, because I was a sweet tooth. But when I was walking through the buffet, I just knew in my mind that you are not supposed to be consuming these things. You were not supposed to be consuming these things. And it was a massive facility. And I just kept on going around. I saw it's like, and it just kept on going in my head. You're not supposed to touch these things. You're not supposed to ingest these things. You have to avoid these things. And as soon as I came out of the building, who walked up to me? Jesus. So I've never told anyone on social media and professionally about this aspect. But yes, okay, I saw the Lord and he told me, and when you see the Lord, you know it's the Lord, okay? If you're a believer, you know when you see the Lord, okay? He told me herbs, then fruits. And there's a book coming out, God willing, that book will be published one day. And the title will be Herbs, Then Fruits. So you guys look out for that book, Herbs, Then Fruits. And I was like, amen, amen. Whew. And I woke up. And I was thinking, herbs then fruits, herbs then fruits. Which herbs should I be taking? Which fruits should I be eating? What should I be doing, Lord? Okay, I know I'm supposed to have lots of vegetables because I had like 5 days of vegetables being bombarded to me. Now you've told me herbs and fruits, but what else? But there was silence. The Lord was like, go look. The information is out there. I'm telling you, when the Lord says he has prepared a table before us, all we need to do is go there and serve yourself. Go there and serve yourself. It's there. So it's like, it's there. It's there. But he didn't drop down, oh, take A, B, C, D. He said, I've told you, go find it. It's there. Everything we need. Everything we need for life and godliness has been provided. We just need the wisdom. Our eyes need to be opened up. Our ears need to be cleaned up to listen clearly, to be perceptive. You know, we need to understand that the Lord loves us so much. His love for us is so high, is so deep, is so wide. He cares about the fact that you're bleeding profusely. He cares about the fact that you're in pain. It's not his will that you go in pain. It's not normal. I mean, look at the lady that was bleeding for 12 years. Oh, come on, let's talk about it. I bet you the woman had fibroids, adenomyosis, endometriosis. She had some serious problems. And what did that scripture say? She had spent her wealth on physicians. She had spent possessions on physicians to try to stop this bleeding situation. This is no joke. I mean, God cares. He does. So he took time to tell me herbs and fruits. And now go. I've told you. I've given you hints. Now go, get it. Because your deliverance will help a lot of people. Your deliverance will set people free.
Ooh, go to what you got. Hold on. Take it. Thank you for that. Oh my God. You know, because we're a holistic being, and that's how God has created it. And that's how he's created. We are we're a whole being. So one area of our life is affected, every other area. So stress in our life affects our health, affects, well-being, affects our, personal relationship. We're just a holistic being, and that's how it's created us. It's interesting, some of the things that you've talked about. I want to hear more about the herbs and fruits. But before you tell us, how you started to then go into, because he's such a good God that he loves us and wants to tell us things. He also, because it's when we search for these things, you give us the clues, you show us the end, but there's a process to get there. So he expects us to, and it's a relationship thing, coming close. But I think we're talking spiritual things now, but we need to give them information about some of the things you're doing. But seriously, I am feeling what you're talking about. And the truth is, every area of our life affects each other. And so that's why we must find that balance and that peace, to get to a good place where, look, some things don't matter. In the grand scheme of things, some things don't matter. So get rid of those things and just be peaceful. Be at peace with all men. It doesn't matter, So thank you. Absolutely. That's great. And I'm just going to share with people, please, while Dr. Kenneth talking, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and then we'll come back to it towards the end of this. But I want to get as much as out of Dr. Kenneth, regarding some of the food and lifestyle and these herbs and fruits kind of things. She's going to give us a bit of the stuff before we go and buy the book when they're out soon. Carry on, Dr. Kenneth. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. So, I mean, it was so refreshing to have that revelation, and it was just more of an affirmation of my faith. I'm like, okay, I have the green light to fight because I have support. I have divine support. Okay, so let's do this. So I started just prayerfully looking into the literature. So I put on my scientific hat. I said, okay, I started to look into the literature, look into research papers, look into peer-reviewed data. There was not a lot of peer-reviewed data. However, there was a lot of research on fibroids, on uterine fibroids, on myoma, on, the hormonal imbalances, on estrogen dominance. I'm like, yes, okay. Why aren't these OBGYNs talking about this? There is a connection between estrogen dominance and the presentation of fibroids. So, I mean, I love my OBGYN. Like I told you, he's the one that gave birth to helped me deliver my first 2 kids. So I'm like, why did he share any of these with me? I mean, he never mentioned to me that I was likely in an estrogen dominant state. He never told me that. So I didn't think about that. So I'm like, okay, so if I can take care of estrogen dominance, I can facilitate the shrinkage of fibroids, because I was determined to conceive again. I'm like, no, you did not beat me. No, I have divine support now. So I will not only shrink these fibroids, but I will conceive again. I was determined, okay? And I just decided not to ask my OBGYN anymore for any more support, okay? Because it wasn't encouraging to me, okay? So I just decided to just take my time to find out what can expedite the metabolism of estrogen, what can help me eliminate that, what can put me in a state of balance, okay? And then I know, okay, I need optimal levels of progesterone. Progesterone is that beautiful hormone that we have. We all have that hormone. We women, we have it. Promotes gestation, promotes gestation. So I'm like, okay, so even as I am trying to shrink fibroids, I have to strategically promote gestation. I have to optimize progesterone. So I'm like, okay, how can I do that? Okay, vitamin C is an excellent source. I can leverage taking a lot of vitamin C sources in the second half, preferably of my cycle. Obviously, you should eat lots of fruits and vegetables at any time of the month, at any time of your cycle. But I was being very, very strategic here. I'm like, okay, second half, I need to make sure progesterone is optimized, load up on vitamin C rich foods. first half, okay, I know I need to make sure that I don't have excessive exposure to external sources of estrogen. So I'm like, okay, what are those external sources of estrogen that could be a problem? Then I learned about xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens. That means foreign, okay? Foreign estrogens. They tend to mimic what we naturally produce. So we naturally produce three different forms of estrogen. We produce E1, E2, and E3. However, E2, which is also called 17-beta estradiol, is more present, is predominant during childbearing years, during reproductive years. It is the most potent form of estrogen. Okay, so we don't want to be in an E2 dominant state. Sadly, most birth control pills contain this potent replica of estrogen. They call it ethinyl estradiol. That is a xenoestrogen. And when you expose yourself to these xenoestrogens that can mimic this E2, you will disrupt your hormonal dynamic. You will disrupt your hormonal dynamic, which is all you can refer to your to your endocrine system. It's just a network of your chemical messengers, your hormones, and other enzymes and gastric juices that we need just for bodily function. So I had to locate, okay, what are these xenoestrogens? Plastics, number one. I saw you hold up a bottle. I was like, no, I was about to snatch it from you just now. Why are you holding a water bottle? Get that thing out of your house. Yes, xenoestrogens can be introduced.
Plastics. Water from plastics.
So many factors involved in the journey to shrinking fibroids. There are so many factors that you have to consider. You don't just do one and say, oh, it doesn't work, and then you give up. No, 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 no. You have to look at the different angles in which you're having this disruption in your hormonal dynamic. Okay? It could be stress. It could be from what you're eating. It could be from what you're drinking. It could be from what you're exposing yourself to. So there are different angles you have to consider, to tackle this. So one of the biggest things I had to cut out of my life was plastics, okay? Because the plasticizer, the primary or common plasticizer used is called BPA, bisphenol A, and that is a xenoestrogen. It is confirmed to disrupt your hormonal balance. It will promote the growth of fibroids because it will put you in an estrogen dominant state. Okay, there are some studies that have even shown that BPA is connected with breast cancer. So I had to start switching into the use of stainless steel cooking utensils, wooden or ceramic containers in the house. And then, for storage of food, I will either use glass. In fact, it was mostly glass I started using because I didn't want to even do BPA-free containers. You have options of using BPA-free containers or using silicone containers. I just did not want anything that looked like plastic. I was that aggressive. I'm like, I'm going to fight this thing with all I got. Okay? So I was just using glass. So anything hot foods I stored in glass containers. Okay, and I obviously allowed the food to cool down before I put it in a glass container. And even if I put it in a glass container while hot, it wasn't a problem because you wouldn't have BPA leaching into the food. If you put hot food into plastic, BPA will likely leach into your food. You are exposing yourself to a xenoestrogen. So imagine doing that from the age of 11. You will have just such a high concentration of E2 estrogens circulating in your bloodstream. Of course, you'll be in an estrogen dominant state. Of course, when you have your cycles, you're going to be in a lot of pain. Having pain during your periods or during your cycle, during your having what they call the PMS condition is not normal. It's not. I mean, I am 44 now. I don't have any of those symptoms. it's supposed to be a breeze, no pain, no discomfort.
Mm.
Okay? Go ahead.
Can I pause you quickly? You know, just what you've just said now is, and it's really important. That's why, honestly, my heart as well is educating the next generation, because some of the things I've had to go through, I have a daughter who's teenager. I don't want to have to go through that. So knowing things to do early, knowing what to do early really makes a lot of difference. And reminding me of somebody who I used to work with, you know, and it's because I wasn't aware, because I wasn't educated. I was there battling fibroid and doing all of that, but I was there. I was the one who ate all the bad food and all of those things. But this particular lady, she was fussy with food. I just used to get angry, like, why are you not going to eat food? We go to lunch at work, she's not eating. She'll have a drink, but she'll always bring her food and all of that. You know, and I just didn't understand, like, live a little, you know, even when we order food in to work and all of that, she doesn't eat it. I didn't realize it was many years later, when after I started this charity, and she said to me, look, one of the reasons was because she knew early, you know, that she had endometriosis, and she had been managing it at maybe she about 13 or so is when her mom and her and the consultant be managing it. I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine? And I was there throwing jabs at, like, why wouldn't you live a little, eat some food? But I was the one, meanwhile, I was struggling with stuff, and I wasn't informed or educated. So I was in all the bad stuff. So it's really knowing early, and now she's living a good life because she's been informed from young, and she knows what to do. She knows her boundaries. She knows what she should stay away from, and she's used to it now. You know, so it's really, really important, you know, to be informed early and to pass this out to, I mean, you got this later on in life. Imagine if you had that information to younger years, we will have done things differently. Personally, I mean, if I was informed and educated in my younger years, I wouldn't have the outcome that I had with fibroid, and I had to do hysterectomy because that's what was thrown at me. But at that point, it was either life or death, and I said, you know what, I want to leave. Can we take out this uterus if it's going to save my life? Because I was bleeding nonstop for 2 years. But imagine if I was informed, educated, someone was interested in my well-being and said, look, these are the things, that's how to do. This is what to eat. This is what to stay away from. You're telling us about plastic now. Who knew anything about plastic? I'll put food anywhere and just store it away and eat. And you know, so it's interesting, and my heart is also for the younger generation, younger people knowing early whatever situation or condition that there might be, and also what's in there, who's hereditary. We're believers in all of those things. I believe in prayer, but also knowing knowledge and having understanding of these things and knowing how to live your life differently to have a good outcome, basically.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree 100%. Knowledge is power. I mean, Don Hill says, you don't know what you don't know. It's great now we have that education. Yes, we thank God for the access, you know, to education. And, you know, I just want, I always tell ladies, you have to, and it's men too, you know, you have to be your own health advocate, because, you know, men can also be in an estrogen dominant state. It's not just women. Men can be in an estrogen dominant state where they have higher estrogen as opposed to testosterone. So the primary hormone for the men is testosterone, right? However, they do produce estrogen, but at, you know, smaller concentrations. Now, if they expose themselves to xenoestrogens, if they lead certain lifestyles that cause them to be exposed to xenoestrogens, they could end up being in an estrogen dominant state as men.
So and as men, state, what's the condition that they have?
Oh, they can actually end up having prostate cancer. They can have inflammation of their prostate. They can progress to prostate cancer. You know, so I tell men, you know, go check your PSA levels. You know, keep an eye on those PSA levels. When it starts looking off, you may want to make some changes to your lifestyle. You know, it's time to, you know, have a close conversation with your physician and check, you know, revamp your lifestyle. Okay. You know, so yes, it's not just women. You know, we also have to educate our men about estrogen dominance. Okay. So just back to what I leveraged. So definitely I had to make sure I was not exposing myself to external sources of estrogen. Okay. So took care of the plastics. That was a big one for me. And then I started to look at my skincare products. I'm like, oh my goodness. I started to see methyl parabens, phthalates. I'm like, oh my gosh, all those are xenoestrogens, and a lot of our skincare products contain parabens, contain phthalates. I'm like, oh Lord, have mercy. I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to apply on my skin? Like, this is crazy. Like, I mean, people just really have to be conscious of what's going on and what is really thrown at us, because this is subtly getting us sick. You have to be very careful about what you're exposing yourself to your skin, to your GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract, to your gut. All these things can cause challenges. Oh yeah, don't use that. Stop using Vaseline. You know, it's crazy. You know, so I had to throw away all my skincare products that contained parabens. I had to throw the ones that had phthalates, and it's very easy to identify them. Very easy. Just look at the ingredients. You know, if it contains parabens, it will say ethyl paraben, propyl paraben, or methyl paraben. Okay, so you know the suffix is paraben, P-A-R-A-B-E-N, or phthalates. So thankfully, you have products coming out that clearly say phthalate-free, paraben-free.
Don't say, I'll have to have crucifix and have fibroids.
I totally agree. Like, gee, come on. Like, what's going on here? So seriously, I reached out to my mom in Nigeria, like, send me shea butter. Send me our good old shea butter, please. You know, this is crazy. Until I found this website called, it's www.ewg.org. I would strongly encourage everyone listening, check out the website, www.ewg.org. Oh my goodness, I love their work. You know, you can actually research safe skincare products and cosmetics, and you can also look at safe laundry detergents. Yes, you have xenoestrogens in laundry detergents. Okay, so these guys have done extensive work to generate what is safe for you to use on your skin and also to use in your household. So please check out the website, www.ewg.org.
I put that wrong.
Yes, so it's E as in egg, W as in water, G as in go.org. Powerful, awesome website. I love what they have about the clean foods and the dirty foods, so to speak. So by the dirty foods, they're just referring to foods that are likely inundated with pesticides. Yes, pesticides are a source of xenoestrogens as well. Guys, I totally went organic, like 1000%. Okay? Because prior to then, I wouldn't even think about it. I just put whatever in my mouth. Food was food. I didn't really think about it. And I mean, this is coming from someone who had a master's degree in food science and nutrition. I was researched and published in food science. And I did not even think about these things. I would just, really just wash it, put it in your mouth, eat. I didn't think about it. Like, oh my goodness, I can expose myself to xenoestrogens by eating conventional foods. So I tried as much as possible to stick with organic, especially when it came to fruits that I could not peel. So fruits like berries, can you peel a berry? You can peel a strawberry. You can peel a blackberry or blueberries. So I was like, you know what? For berries, organic. I wasn't even looking at cost anymore, because I'm like, man, this the fibroids I had cost me my baby, and almost cost me my life. It almost cost me my life, so I'm like, I wasn't even looking at cost anymore. So it was organic berries, so things like banana or plantain, I would get the conventional. things like pineapple, I just get the conventional because I'm not eating the peel. Now, if you plan to brew the peel of pineapple, you probably want to get organic, but I didn't use the peels at all. So in terms of fruits, yes, I really took a lot of berries and citrus fruits, okay, because I wanted to make sure I was exposing myself to enough vitamin C, enough antioxidants. I wanted to make sure I was repairing my tissues. I was going to make sure that I wasn't encouraging any form of inflammation. Okay, so I was doing that very religiously. In fact, I would tell you for the first 30 days, I was hardcore vegan. I do not recommend that to anyone. You don't have to be vegan to shrink fibroids. Okay, let me just throw that in there. Okay, you do not have to be vegan to shrink fibroids. However, I was crazy. I was determined. I was like, dude, I don't care. 30 days, I didn't eat any meat. I'm like, this fibroids must go and I must conceive again. So, no meat, lots of vegetables, lots of greens. You remember those greens I saw for 5 days? I was doing greens like I was Mrs. Green. I was a rabbit, okay? And I was trying to make sure I was having them in the raw form. So I'm giving you a lot of gems here, okay, guys? I was having them in the raw form because I wanted to make sure I was getting the plant chemicals, the phytochemicals that would cause the therapeutic effects that I was looking for. Okay, the main therapeutic outcome I was aiming for was to expedite the elimination of excess estrogen. So I'm like, what kinds of greens, which one would help promote this? I need to search for them. Okay, so I was like, aha. Cruciferous vegetables, cruciferous. Okay, I'm going to eat these things. I'm going to turn into a goat, a rabbit, call me a lamb. I don't care. These fibers have to go. So yes, I was eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables. I was eating a lot of fruits, and I was feeling great. I am telling you, like after the miscarriage, my cycle was 32, 33 days in Lent. Okay, and I would bleed for like 7-8 days straight. I mean, I was clotting like, oh, it was horrific. And you know, and it's so interesting that before the miscarriage, I had no symptoms, so I didn't even know I had fibroids. But after I had the miscarriage, you know, because obviously during pregnancy, you're going to be oozing out a lot of hormones. You're going to be oozing out a lot of estrogen. So that's why the fibroids can get bigger when you're pregnant, right? You know, so it was more apparent now. So after the miscarriage, it's like the bleeding was horrific. It was bad. I'm talking 7-8 days, horrific bleeding, clotty. It was bad. I felt as though my life was pouring out of me. Like, oh God, what is this? Woo! Okay, so so with all this revelation and beginning to implement these things, I am telling you, 30 days of doing this hardcore, my cycle went down from 32 days to 26.
30 days.
From 32 days to 26.
Yeah, but for this just days.
Just for, yes, 1 month. Yes. I was so happy, like, oh yes. I was like, yes, this is a massive achievement. I documented all that. Okay, so let's see what I could do the second month. You know, let's see what I could be disciplined enough to do, because it is a lifestyle change, guys. You know, you may have done certain things all your life, like eating ice cream, pastries. Like me, I love pastries. You know, sleeping late at night. Horrible lifestyle practices. But when you are on a healing journey, you have to be really willing to make some changes. It's not magic, okay? The easiest way out is just go under the knife, let him do a myomectomy. That's the easiest way. Just go. Let him do a myomectomy, right?
Temporary.
I know, but it seems easy, though. It's like a shortcut. I don't need to change my lifestyle, right? If I just go under the knife and do a myomectomy, at least I have some level of relief, right? However, there are complications that can arise. And even if you had no complications after the myomectomy, guess what? If you continue in the same trajectory, if you're doing the same things that you're doing prior to the fibroids, it will come right back, right? And you go back to your physician and do another myomectomy. You know, if you don't have insurance, you pay out of pocket. I'm just telling you. I know some people that have had multiple myomectomies. I know some folks, you know, because they just feel, you know, that that's the only option they have, right? So fine, it's okay. You did it the first time because you were, oh my God, you're in unbearable discomfort. You did it the first time. You gave yourself 6 months to heal. You conceived, you had your baby. Yes, I'm excited. I'm happy for you. Now, you have to make sure you're leading a life that is healthy, that is not conducive for new growth. Because as long as you have a uterus, fibroids love to grow, especially if you're a woman of African descent. For some reason, it just loves women of African descent. Like, what did we do to you? So I'm telling you, it's like, you know, you just have to be very, very strategic, you know? So let me repeat myself. You go through, say you went through myomectomy, right? The fibroids were taken out. You conceived after 6 months of healing. Lovely. I will strongly encourage you, please revamp your lifestyle. It is not worth it having new growths again. Okay? Because if you subject yourself to another myomectomy, you can experience scarring. Okay? It can become difficult to conceive subsequently if you have a lot of scarring on your uterus. Okay? So just to encourage people out there, please be very strategic. Look out for yourself. Okay? Just make sure that you are not exposing yourself to external sources of these estrogens. Okay, because it will disrupt your hormonal dynamic. Look at what's in your cosmetics. Look at what's in your skincare products. Make sure you're not introducing yourself to any of those ingredients I mentioned, parabens, phthalates. Make sure you're cutting out plastics from your life, please. I beg you. Stick with glass, stainless steel, wood, or ceramics. Okay?
Dr. Someone just said, how about breakable plastic like the ones used for blenders and the plastic used for drugstores, store drugs? You know, like when you buy all of those things.
Oh yes, that's a very good question. The drugs, are they hot or cold? They're normally cold or room temperature, right? So as long as you're not storing hot foods or liquids or substances that have been subjected to high temperatures, you're okay. Okay? So you want to do cold or room temperature if you must use plastic. Okay? And another very important thing to note is look at the recycle symbol at the base of your plastic. Normally they tend to be at the base of the plastic container. Look at that, please. Look at the numbers in there. Okay? So if you have number 2, 4, or 5, it is safer to use. So if you must use plastics, please look at that triangle underneath, okay? That recycle symbol. It looks like 3 arrows that form a triangle. It should be 2, 4, or 5. If you see 1, okay? If you see number 1, that is okay. However, it's best for only one-time use for your own safety. Okay? So if you see number 1 in that recycled triangle, the 3 arrows that form a triangle, please plan on using it one time. Okay? Continual use will cause, you know, the BPA to leach into your fluids or your food. You'll be exposing yourself to it.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Never known about these numbers. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Thank you for that information. Every day is a...
Yes, please. You have to be very careful, you know, especially like I know I have some clients that that live in Nigeria, and they say, what is going to happen to us? Some of us that have to take what they call what do they call that thing? Pure water, the water in the plastic. I'm like, oh my gosh, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Okay, if you must, then you have to be very strategic to facilitate elimination of estrogen. You need to be pooping. You have to have excellent bowel movement, okay? Because estrogen can get out of you in your sweat, in your urine, and in your poop. So you have to optimize your bowel movements. If you're in a situation where, oh my goodness, I have no option but to drink water from plastic, please ensure that it's not subjected to high temperatures. Okay? See, that's the baby that I got after I shrank those fibers. Hi, sweetie. I'm busy. See, come and get your sister.
Yes.
So yeah, oh yeah. Eventually, I shrank the fibers and I had her. So I just want to let everyone know there is hope. There is hope. Okay, and it's oh, Chini, you can carry her, please. Carry her. I have my teenage son here. He's like, don't bother me, mom. He has to take care of her. That's his sister. Where's Uche? I have an 18-year-old daughter. She's upstairs hiding somewhere. She just doesn't want to be bothered. These kids, I'm telling you, they're like, mom, don't do it again. Don't do it again. Like my eldest is going to college. She's like, see, if you try this stunt again, you're going to be on your own. I'm not babysitting.
You're going to be looking after your child yourself.
So yes, that's a fast forward right there. So yes, I did successfully shrink the fibers, and I conceived, I had my baby. But you know, I'm just giving you some of the steps, some of the things that I did. So just want to give you guys hope, okay? So the one that is said was submucosal. So the one that was protruding into my womb, they said it was calcified. It was calcified and it was degenerative. So what that means is it had been there for some time, and I did not even know. So I'm like, and those calcified ones, they almost claim that it's like almost impossible for those to shrink. That one shrank, okay? It shrank. And I was able to have this baby, you know? So, oh Lord, can you put on her cartoon, please? She's not gonna let me talk. Okay, here, take her.
This evidence that they we need to see evidence.
Oh my gosh. You know, normally I have, when I do IG lives, I have them in a separate room, but I decided to have it in the living room today. Yeah, so these were some of the steps that I took. So for my body, for skincare, I only use glycerin on my skin. So, and I told Omoni this. Omoni was like, are you kidding me, really? I'm like, yes. You'd be surprised how awesome your skin feels and looks with just glycerin. So after bathing while my skin is damp, I just moisturize myself with glycerin because I wasn't ready to expose myself to any parabens. I mean, there are some awesome skincare, safe skincare products out there. So you don't have to do glycerin if you don't want to. Just make sure that you don't have exposure to any of those ingredients, okay, that I mentioned earlier. So we've talked about that, and also alcohol.
I want to answer someone's question, but like what you're saying, the key is just checking the ingredients, really. Someone's asking, what about some recycled signs that don't have number in it? What do we do?
That's a very good question. I won't even use them. I'm sorry. I find those very questionable. Okay, so if it has no recycle number, I don't know what chemicals was used to form this container. So I can't vouch for the safety of that container. So at least the numbers are an indicator for us. So if you absolutely don't see any numbers, I would strongly suggest you avoid it. Avoid the use of that container. Okay, and like I said, if you must use plastics, you know you must optimize your bowel movements. You must optimize other ways to make sure you're metabolizing estrogen effectively. Okay, estrogen is wonderful. It is a great hormone that we need. It makes us feel like women, really. You know, what we see, the boobs, the thighs, you know, the hips, the breast tissue. It's beautiful. We need estrogen. However, what we don't want is to be in an estrogen dominant state. So go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, it's just Dawn was asking if we have those numbers in the UK. I was just going to say, I'm going to go look while you keep talking, you know, because it's interesting, you know, this number stuff. I've never known or heard about this number and stuff on Recycle. So,
yeah, look at the bottle. The bottle you just drank from. Can you look underneath it? See if you can see any triangle.
There's not.
So
there is. It just says recycling. Thing. There's nothing. Interesting.
So did you get that from a larger case?
Yes.
So did you see the triangle on the case?
No, so it's okay. So it's 100% recyclable, but I see other plastic. Carry on. I'm going to try.
Wow, that's interesting. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So in the UK, you don't have that. Wow. Well, then I would suggest you stick with glass, ceramics, or stainless steel. Oh my goodness, really? Okay. Yeah, because in the US we have you have those recycle numbers indicated on the base. We have different processes in the UK which we have to remember. Okay, interesting. So I'd like to know how plastic containers are presented in the UK.
I've just seen another. I've looked at 3, 6. There's no. We just have the sign, but nothing. No number written there. We just have the sign recycle. It says widely recyclable, 100% recyclable, but we have no numbers. Interesting. Thank you for picking that up, because I didn't think I've ever seen numbers, but I thought maybe I just never looked. Interesting stuff.
So a lady said that we do have triangles in the UK. They gave numbers in them. Check well.
Oh, okay. Maybe we're looking at different things. So we have triangles in the UK. Yes, we do. I've seen all of these bottles. I've seen the triangles, but there's no number in it. What have you looked into so that you've seen? What plastic do you have? Let's see another thing. I've seen 3 now with no number. Because interestingly, it happens that today I'm in my kitchen, so I can look at them. I've seen this. I have contact lenses on. I cannot see. Carry on, Dr. Kenny. While we try and do this research. This doesn't have a number. Oh, this has 4 actually. So she's right. This has 4. I have this plastic water bottle that's got 4 on it. Yeah, this got 4 on it. Okay, so some things don't.
Yes. Okay. So please. So now you know. Please. Okay. So look out for those numbers. You know that 2, 4, or 5 are safer. If you must use plastic, please make sure it is 2, 4, or 5. If you do have a number 1 in there, just plan on a one-time use and get rid of it. Okay. Have it in the recycle bin to be recycled. So you just have to be very strategic. And another thing I caught out was alcohol. So I used to be an occasional wine drinker, and that had to go. It wasn't worth it, okay? Because the primary organ that helps in the metabolism of estrogen is your liver. The last thing you want is to compromise the function of your liver. You want your liver to be highly optimized to metabolize estrogen, okay? Because you need to bring that estrogen into what we call a water-soluble form for it to get in your poop, for it to get in your urine, for it to come out in your sweat, okay? So it's very important that your liver is in its best shape, Okay, so the last thing you want is to drink alcohol or to have, ooh, this is a touchy one, excess body fat. Okay, because with excess body fat, you can have fat deposition in your liver. There's a condition that actually doesn't present with any symptoms. Most people don't have any symptoms. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay, and this is just from, you know, the use of alcohol, fat deposition on the liver, excess body fat. Okay, so you don't want to compromise the function of your liver, because if you're not metabolizing your estrogen effectively, it's pretty much remaining in your circulation. So it's going to put you in an estrogen dominant state. Okay, so alcohol I took out of my diet. It was done. No occasional wine drinking. If I had to attend occasions, I just drink water. Okay, and me being fancy is me asking for lemon water. I asked them, get me a cup of hot water with some lemon wedges. You know, and I really didn't care what anyone thought, you know, because that's why, you know, when it comes to healing journeys, you really cannot be judgmental, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through. Just like you were saying, that the lady that you knew, every time she was very, very careful about what she was eating, what she was drinking, but you had no idea that this lady was dealing with endometriosis, had been dealing with it for years. You know, so please respect everyone's journey, okay?
I had to.
I am telling you. I mean, so yeah, so that's what I did, you know. So this, like, let me rewind. I don't know how much time we have left here. Oh, it's 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I have to go. But yeah, so let me just round up. So I was diagnosed with uterine fibroids, which was observed, which I knew about rather after I had my miscarriage. So I had the 3 of them. I had submucosal, subserosal, and intramural. The intramurals were like 2 small ones. The submucosal was big, calcified, and it was protruding into my womb. The subserosal was also big as well. And I started the strategic lifestyle changes from after the miscarriage, or after maybe 2 months of crazy bleeding. I was like, you know what? I told you what I did, made peace with everyone, made peace with myself, made peace with family, made peace with God, had this powerful revelation, did some extensive research, and all the things I implemented are backed by science. There is no quackery here. I had to leverage, you know, just sound science to figure out how to eliminate this thing. Okay, so and then obviously it shrank. You know, I did have, I am telling you, so like, this is by before I turned 36 is when I started having the lighter periods. It went from 7-8 days of bleeding to just 3 days. It went from 32 days of my cycle to just 26. You know, by 37 years of age, 36, 37, I was fine. I was ready to conceive. You know, however, you know, my husband wasn't in a hurry. He was like, you know what, that miscarriage was very painful. I don't think we're ready for this. However, when I didn't want to pressure my husband, obviously he had to be on board for me to conceive, obviously. So when so when I turned 40, almost 41, I had an awesome 40th birthday party. We had a great, and oops, all guards were down. Myself pregnant. Okay, so yeah, so that's my story. That's what happened. Okay, so I know I'm just trying to round up very quickly, but just to encourage everyone, you can totally do this. Okay, but you have to be strategic. You have to be willing to make some serious lifestyle changes. You have to. You know, there's no way around that. It's, you know, if anyone tells you, oh, just drink this one thing and then the fibers will disappear, it's a fat lie. Okay, they're very unique activities you must engage in. There are certain foods and fluids you may want to consider drinking, you know, and for some ladies, there's some supplements that will support you. Okay, so you just have to be very strategic, you know, with exposing yourself with these unique lifestyle interventions and nutritional options to shrink it.
Okay.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kennedy. This has been very educative and informative work. I'm absolutely so grateful. Someone wanted to know about apple cider vinegar, and someone's asking how much did your fibroids shrink and have they returned after giving birth? You know, so, and this is what this is about, honestly, bringing hope to women, helping women to know that, look, anything is possible. If you desire that you do not want fibroids anymore, lifestyle change can help. You've set things around being peaceful, gratitude, you know, and lifestyle change. Food and lifestyle change is really, really important. Go out. There's a lot of information. Join support network. Join people. People are talking about these things. Look for information. You know, get with people who are going through the journey, who's had testimonial about their own journey. Helpful on this journey and can give you great outcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Kenneth. So last one, just tell us a bit about, someone wanted to know if any advice on apple cider vinegar, and then about your fibroid, how much they shrunk, and they come back after baby.
Okay, so about apple cider vinegar, that is your best friend. It was my best friend, okay? So especially the one that was unfiltered. So we're talking about the one that has what they call the mother. So what the mother is really prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes. And that will expedite, that will facilitate digestion, and it'll also help with fat burning. It helps to provide sources of probiotics that will help balance your gut microbiome. So by gut microbiome, I'm referring to the environment of microbes that you have. All of us have microbes. We have living organisms living in us, right? You know, but they have to be in a state of balance, okay? When you have imbalance in your gut microbiome, you can get all kinds of diseases, not just fibroids. You can have autoimmune diseases, you can have other problems, okay? So having probiotics is great. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, I would say get one, you know, and if you have to have apple cider vinegar, make sure it is diluted. It has acetic acid. You don't want to burn yourself. So you want to dilute at least 1 tablespoon in 8 to 10 ounces of water anytime you have it, or you can add it to your smoothies. No worries, okay? Just make sure it's diluted. In terms of fibroid shrinkage, so when I started the journey at the age of 35, I would say, you know, when the period reduced from 32 days to 26 days, I was like, oh my goodness, should I go do an ultrasound now? Because this is really good. Did it shrink? What's going on? So I did go do an ultrasound, I would say maybe the 3rd month after I started making lifestyle changes, and it shrunk by a few inches. So the submucosal went down from, I think it was, oh boy, I have to go look at my paperwork. I think it was like 8 centimeters by 8 by 7 by 7. So I think it went down to about 6. So like 2 inches shrank. The second one shrank by another 2. The third one was the 2 intramurals. You know, they were already small, but they're small but troublesome. So, you know, they did not shrink that much. Those were small. But what I did was I did do another ultrasound check. I gave myself another 3-4 months after that, and the 4th one disappeared. The 4th intramural went. The 3rd one that was 3 inches went down to about 2 by 1 by 2. The subseral, so that was around 6-ish, it went to about 4. The first one, the submucosal, that was now 7, was 7-ish, that one went to 6. So I'm like, okay, this is good, you know, but guys, let me tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I did indulge, okay? So there are some points, like by the 6th, 7th week, I indulged a little bit, had some ice cream here, some cake there. I told you guys I was a sweet tooth, and God had to deliver me from that sweet tooth. And hey, by the way, sugar is not your friend. If you're trying to shrink fibers, sugar is not your friend, okay? So Yes, I had some moments of indulging, and that obviously stifled my efforts a little bit. So, so that occurred by the time I was, you know, 38. I was so relaxed because my period was now just 3 days in Lent, and it was light. So I didn't bother checking the ultrasound anymore because I felt I was fine, right? And so I was really trying to conceive then. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'm not going for an ultrasound. Let me just try to conceive, okay? But my husband was like, whatever, you're on your own, blah. I'm not ready for that yet. So after my 40th birthday party, and we're all chill, relaxed, family was around, it was good, all of that, got pregnant. And trust me, I partied hard. I didn't drink alcohol though, but I did eat a lot of sweets. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. Now I need to do an ultrasound to see what's going on here. Oh my goodness. So when we did the ultrasound, I was at that point, that submucosal was, I think it was 5. It was the highest was like 5 inches. The third one was gone. There was remember the third intramural that was out. So I only had 2. So I had that calcified one, which was down to about 5. Then the submucosal one was like around 4.8-ish something, So like, okay, whatever, not a problem. So I was just happy. Baby was in there. We're good. But then I'm like, I have to be careful because I'm pregnant. I'm going to have estrogen floating around. I'm going to have progesterone floating around. These fibers can get bigger, so I have to be very, very careful about my lifestyle and food intake during the first 2 trimesters. I was crazy disciplined, and I if you see my friends don't believe I had a baby because they're like, you didn't gain any weight, because I was very strict, right? I had to be eating pretty much the same way. However, I wasn't as aggressive because I was pregnant, so I wasn't as aggressive while carrying the baby. However, I will tell you this, towards the end of my 2nd trimester, I know I have only 3 minutes now, I have to jump off. Towards the end of the 2nd trimester, I was like, you know what? I look great. I feel good. I could indulge a little bit. That's why, guys, you have to be careful. I started indulging, as in pizza, what do you call it? Fried bean, like the Africans, we call it akara. So I ate lots of akara, fried beans, and I did lots of pizza because I'm like, I think I'm fine now, but it was bad, girl, because guess what? I knew the fibroids grew. I knew it because I could feel it. Like, whoa, my belly. In fact, when I went to see my OBGYN, he's like, you did something differently. What? I feel it. Oh, what did you do? I'm like, oh no, I know I'm bad. I'm bad. It's like, you gotta be careful. But anyway, so I had my baby, thank God. Had my baby safely, no worries. So I had to now be careful to strategically reduce it again because they got big. Okay. And then I had the third one. The third one became like, I think it was like 3 inches. The intramural is like, it started off at like 2-ish at the time of delivery because they did an ultrasound, but then it went up to about 3. So I'm like, okay. After nursing, I need to be very strict. So I nursed for 18 months. So I really could not do anything for 18 months straight because I had to be careful about the food I was consuming because I was nursing, baby. And it was during the pandemic as well. So it was a very interesting time. And I had to go and do lots of clinical work. Just lots of crazy things were happening because they needed clinicians on ground to run COVID clinics. So I had to be out there. However, as soon as the 18-month was over, I was back on the grind. Okay, so I pretty much did everything I did at the prior to conception, and then I shrank it by almost 50%. Yes. So I'm telling everyone, you have to be proactive. You have to be intentional. Okay, so you may have fibroids that are small, 1 inch in diameter, maybe 1 by 1 by 1, I won't worry about it. 2 by 2 by 2, 3 by. When you start hitting 5, 6, 8, 10, or even higher, you've got to be careful. You need to start making some changes. You need to start making some changes, okay? Some ladies have no symptoms whatsoever. Some ladies don't. But when you start having symptoms, you need to pay attention. Your body is telling you something. You cannot ignore it. If you're having pain during your periods, if you're having heavy periods, if you're becoming anemic as a result of your periods, you need to take action, okay? You need to be ready to make lifestyle changes, okay?
Absolutely. And that is so amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And like you said, our body will always tell us. It's really up to us to try and figure out what the body's saying. What does that mean? With all of those signs and signals and the different things that is happening, going on with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Kenneth. This has been very informative and educative, and it's really about being consistent, really, and also being intentional. Like someone said, as long as you're 80% good, sometimes 20% you can fall by the wayside, but as long as you're quick to pick up yourself and go at it again, and constantly go until you find a good place. And what's that word that says a habit that you do in 60 days becomes part of you, and then before you know it, that's a lifestyle. You don't even think about it as much anymore. Every now and then you can indulge, but absolutely it is a lifestyle change, is making sure you're being intentional and keeping at it. And thank you so much, Dr. Kenneth, for sharing your story. That's really amazing, and that's what this is all about, bringing hope to women, helping women know that there is hope. Fibroid is not a death sentence. There are things you can do to have good outcomes, and just be able to have children. It doesn't mean that you cannot have children. You can have children. I know someone who says from India has contacted me, and honestly, you can have children. It's possible to have other alternatives. I say, well, most people tell you, oh, myomectomy and all of that, like we have said, is a temporary fix for if you need it for when it is, but you can't have too many of those. It's all down to the lifestyle change, the food, and also being in a good place, in a balanced place. Reduce stress. I can't say no stress, but reduce it to minimum, and reduce the cortisol production. Thank you, Dr. Kennedy. This has really been amazing, and I love this. This is the first time we've gone over 1 hour, by the way. Thank you, because we're enjoying the conversation. And for me also, I love the fact that we bring our faith into it, because for me that's the basis of all of this, honestly, because we're a holistic being, and all of these parts connect together, to make a whole being. So thank you. I really appreciate your time and this education. Absolute amazing time. Thank you. I know you've gone past your time. We have consultation. I appreciate all that. God bless you. Love you. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. Absolutely grateful to have you.
And they should reach out if they want to be. They're definitely welcome to join our Fibroid Challenge. Okay. We do have a 6-month fibroid challenge that we're running to help ladies that want to shrink the fibroids or eliminate them completely. Please feel free to reach out to me, DM me, and we'll see if you can be a part of this challenge. So far, we have about 30 women that we're currently working with. Amazing results so far. I am telling you, women going from 12 days of bleeding to 5 days. We have one of our clients, she went from 21 days. I mean, hers just broke my heart. 21 days of bleeding. She's now at 13. She only started this challenge 2 months ago. So she's gone from 21 days of bleeding to 13 days. I mean, I'm like, woo, I'm so happy for her progress. I'm like, we're going to go further down, okay? So let's stay on this. But she is so happy. She is like, you don't know how, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. I couldn't even imagine a person bleeding for 21 days straight.
So
You know, but
when's the challenge starting? Because what I'm gonna do is put your link in our hub. So we have a hub of about 100 and I think 15 or 20 women, and then we can share that in there. And also about your book, Dr. Kenny, we need that book. So also I want to be able to know when that book is out. We can also actually buy some of you and give them to women, you know, or also in our community and all of those kind of stuff. But what I will also do, if you let me know when your next Kahoot or the challenge next one is starting, I can put that out in our hub and then just encourage women to join that. So, I mean, people can have a different outcome instead of opting for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if they are interested and if they have any inquiries, they can just send me a DM, just direct message me, and I'll give you information, because we only plan for one cohort this year, actually. However, because I was getting so many inquiries in my DM, I decided to do another one. So we had another batch of 15 women join. So we have a total of about 30 women right now. However, if you want to be a part of the challenge, you are welcome to join me. We'll get you in and we'll bring you up to speed. You're going to have access to a protocol. I have an 84-page protocol that I put together. Like I said, there's so many factors involved. You need to be strategic. It's not some magic wand like, oh, fibroids disappear. You have to do strategic things, take strategic steps to encourage the shrinkage or elimination, okay? So we have an extensive protocol that I drafted, I put together, and every woman has access to that. And we have a very supportive group, you know, of 30 women that are currently in the program, and you know, they're very, very supportive, you know, and very engaging. So you're going to be a part of that support group as well. And Omoni, if for those who know who Omoni, she is there like constantly, you know, supporting women, because if you know her story, she lost her mom as a result of complications to hysterectomy. You know, so the mom had fibroids at postmenopausal, and hysterectomy was recommended to the mom. She did that procedure, but she passed away a few days after. So many complications after it. So Omoni is very aggressive about helping women that have this diagnosis. So you're very welcome to reach out to me, DM me, or you can DM Omoni directly. It's totally fine. And we'll see how we can help you, okay? So many awesome results so far. Lighter periods, no pain, cycles going down. I mean, from ridiculous number of days of bleeding to 3 days. I mean, come on, you only need to bleed for 3 days, and it doesn't have to be heavy. You don't have to have any pain. You don't need to have any ovulatory pain. You don't have to have any pain during your periods. It's not okay. It's not normal. Don't accept it. You have to first be willing not to accept your current situation. Be angry at that situation. Be angry at the fibroids. Treat it as a villain. Treat it as a trespasser.
And that's sometimes you have to get to say, you want to bottom of this.
It is intruding in your peace. It doesn't belong there. So I want you to be very aggressive in your approach to revamping your lifestyle to make sure that this does not disrupt the quality of your life. Okay? Because fibroids can disrupt the quality of your life.
Yeah, I had no good quality of life when I was going through that, honestly. So I encourage women, please go join in, whatever it is that you need to do to get a better outcome, honestly. And because those options are available, you don't have to go under a knife. You don't have to do all of those things. If you can change lifestyle, if you can use food as medicine, why not? It's just going to take a bit more dedication, a bit more discipline, but compared to when you look at your outcome or where you are going, honestly, those little challenges or the things that you have to give up, you know, is nothing compared to that, you know. And absolutely, thank you, Dr. Kenny. Absolutely appreciate this. I'm grateful. Thank you. And thank you everyone who's joined us today. We hope that you've been able to take away a lot. I have learned new stuff today. And that's why I love these conversations, because there's always, every day is a school day. You're always getting something new. I didn't know about those numbers. Thank you for, talking about that and a few other things that I've learned today. Honestly, I appreciate it. Have a good evening, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Kenneth. Speak to you soon. God bless you.
God bless you. Bye-bye now.
Good night.
Take care. Good night.
Thank you, everyone who joined. I hope that you've had amazing learning and information today to go away with. There is hope. Fibroid is not a death sentence. You can have children, and you can live a good life. God bless you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.